Anderson Cooper 360. CNN, weeknights at 8 and 10 Eastern.
When did you start to realize something was troubling your son?
Well, I guess it was a long haul of clues and hints and behaviors. He went from like being a perfect, 1, 2, 3 magic child to being ornery and being arrogant and mean, and we had a lot of different, we started having serious disagreements. Several times I asked the school to, talk to him, and they had said, oh, there's no man in my house, he's just trying to stake his place in the world. That's what teenagers do. But when he started withdrawing from there, he started like asking me to lie to him when he called my house and things like that.
So when Sandusky, after a while, he didn't want to see Sandusky anymore. When Sandusky would call, he would say, he would ask you to lie. He would ask you to say he wasn't around?
Yes.
And that started making, that made you suspicious?
Yes, very suspicious. And then out of the blue one day, he was sitting at a computer and wanted to look up sex weirdos. So
he wanted to do a search about sex offenders or sex weirdos, that's what they call them?
Yeah. He asked me what the website you get on to look them up is. And I told him it was Megan's Law, and he said, well, how do I type it in? So I gave him the web address. He typed it in the computer, and I said, who are you looking for? And he said, Jerry. I kind of just, like, I don't know, I kind of froze. I was like, wow, what are you looking him up for? And he was like, oh, I don't know. Just want to see if he's on there. I said, well, why would he be on there? And he was something to tell me, and he was like, no, don't Bigfoot those kind of people on there. I said, well, you need to tell me what is going on. And he said I don't know, sometimes he just acts weird, so I just wanted to see if he was on there, that's all. And he just let it die, and he said, I'm outside, and he went and played. And that was the end of that conversation.
So he actually wanted to search under Jerry Sandusky's name on a site for sexual offenders?
Yeah.
Wow.
And I thought that was, yeah. So that was like a big clue to me. I never gave my permission for him to take my son out of class or to leave the school with my child, but he did.
And how soon after your son said that he wanted to search for Jerry's name on a sex offender list, how soon then did the story come out finally?
I would say within a few days after that.
Do you know what Jerry was doing when he called your son out of class?
I have no idea.
But he would meet with him?
I guess, yeah.
And when finally, how did you learn what had happened?
The school, I called the school, and I had brought it to their attention about Jerry, calling him out of class and things like that. And the school was, they said, oh, well, it's not uncommon for him to do that. And I said, okay, well, let's just look at this from an educational standpoint. Because I had already talked to them prior to this and told them that I had a suspicion of something, but I didn't want to accuse anybody of anything, but something was off. And I said, and I told her, I said, I'm not going to accuse him of that because, what I want you to do is I want to end him taking him out of class, for number one. And for number two, I want you to pull him down to the office and just ask him how he feels. And that's what I told them to do.
And what happened when they did that?
Well, when they did, the principal had called me and in tears, and she was crying. I could tell she was crying, and told me to get to the school right away. So I went to the school and met with the guidance counselor and the principal. And when I did, they told me that my son had said some things about that there was a problem with Jerry, and that he didn't know. He didn't really admit anything at that point. That was. He just said that he thought he needed to tell somebody or it would get worse. That's
a really brave thing for him to have said.
And then it is. And then the principal said, oh, Jerry has a heart of gold.
The principal said that to you, that Jerry has a heart of gold?
Yes. Yes. And that, and I said, listen, I was very upset at this point. You know, I was extremely upset, and I was basically yelling at them that they needed to call the police. I said, I said, I want you to call the police, call children youth, you know, and I said, call the police right now. And I said it like 3 times, call the police right now. And they said, no, you need to think about, they said I needed to think about the ramifications of what would happen if I did that.
What do you think they meant by that?
I don't know. I guess, I'm assuming what we're going through now, I don't really know.
What do you want to see happen to Jerry Sandusky?
I want Jerry Sandusky to go to jail for the rest of his life.
Would that be justice?
I don't even know.